G'day. We are starting a little subdued today. I'm not feeling too hot. I am off work with my shoulder being sore, so I'm like, ugh. So here we are with a cast. I have some painkillers in my system, so I should be good to go. If I fall asleep partway through, I am sorry. So, we do have a Division E East game of that alphabet letter starting with Y, which people just call Yavapai, facing off against my old team, 30 Seconds to Mosh. So, 30 Seconds to Mosh did win the coin toss and chose first pick. We did then see they decided to... We see then Yavapai banned out Braxis and Cursed Hollow, while 30 Seconds to Mosh banned out Garden of Terror and Sky Temple, which leads us to, once again, Infernal Shrines, which has been about in half the games I've casted. I should just also say, caster is ready when others are. So this should be a good series. I have played against Yavapai as well as played for 36 Mosh, and both of them are pretty competent teams in their own rights. Yavapai do like throwing weird things at the enemy teams, I've seen quite consistently, and 36 Mosh definitely have a good amount of coordination with them. So the question is, will that coordination be able to overcome what Yavapai has to offer? It is quite hard to indeed say. I would like to see crazy things. I do like seeing weird things. Again, I will now constantly refer to the strange game the other day of, what's the word I'm looking for, main tank Chen into just basically a full auto attack comp. But I am definitely looking forward to this. So, the draft coming up soon. It looks like both teams are ready, so we should be getting the countdown in a few moments. And I briefly just saw in the chat, I think the weekend is another patch came out. So Yavapai do now have to deal with that. I also found out recently that their names are Star Wars references, which I do like a good reference at the end of the day. But we are in the draft, so let's get on over to that screen. And just as a heads up, I will not be doing amazing on the camera work and the everything today, just because I am down an arm currently. My shoulder consistently the thorn in my side, and hopefully I don't have to get anything more happen to it, but I may do eventually, which not ideal to say the least. First ban coming up, and we do see it is Asmodan banned out. Asmodaniel not wanted here, so that just gets pushed into the corner. They just don't want to deal with it. And Stukov banned out as well. Fair enough. It does help against the blow-up. Born is a pretty competent Stukov from what I've seen them do. So, also a reasonable ban. Sorry, I just gotta wrap something up. And Junkrat banned out, also understandable, just such an annoying hero to deal with at the best times and at the worst, well, that's even less fun. Last ban coming up for this first ban phase, what are we going to get? We're having a good thing, we're going maybe the tank, but no, we're getting a healer choke onto the healer role, so I imagine we are going to see Brightwing picked up in just a few moments. We're having a good think about it. No, instead we get a Joanna first pick, which I didn't even consider had made it through the bans. It's something that I've been thinking about a little less as of late, but I do actually like this ban pickup. It is a good solid first one and does help make things a little bit more difficult with what you want to do, because suddenly you can't run all attacks as easy. But we do see Sylvanas and Brightwing is picked up. So the healer pool quickly diminishing here. I imagine we're going to see another healer picked up before the next ban phase. Maybe we see a... Oh god, no, instead we see a Vala and a Blaze. Good damage, good offlane. Both of these very respectable bans in their own right. What will we have next is a question. I may just put on low music in the background. Yeah, there we go. Right, next ban. Cassia. Anarisa's actually... As I say, Anarisa plays Cassia a bunch, but no, Captain does also. So we do still need a tank, an offlane, and a either mage or another offlane, something on the other side of Yavapai. So they do have those options to ban. So I imagine we may see Stitches, a Muradin, or maybe not Stitches or Muradin on this map. Garrosh, maybe. Nope, we see a Mei instead. Not a bad ban, by all means. It is a good, comfortable one. Good luck, have fun, both teams. Also, thank you, Mr. Born to Shine, for joining. I hope you're doing well this evening. And I do try to interact with people as much as I can, I should say. Just sometimes it's a little bit delayed. Well, because I am on a facing delay. But we see Diva picked up, as well as Diablo. Good map for Diablo. Definitely walls around. This is Division E East. I just forget it doesn't show on this screen. This is a screen that doesn't have the divisions up. So this is it's one of the lower divisions in the Nexus Gaming series, but it's still very competitive because both teams will be roughly even skill level, and they can definitely put on a show. We see Jaina and Anduin picked up. I somehow forgot Anduin existed. That is like my most played healer, and I just straight up forgot he existed. It's not my favorite healer by any means. If anyone asked someone like Mr. Bourne what my favorite healer is, he'd probably be able to tell you, but definitely it's dumb of me to forget that Anduin exists. And there is the Sergeant Hammer picked up last. When I was talking to Andrade earlier, before the map started and before Born to Shine joined me in the coin toss, they mentioned they do like running the Sergeant Hammer, so that should definitely be an interesting time to say the least. So as the countdown rolls, we will be getting into the game in just a few moments. So what I will do is I'll be running our pre-roll, and you will see, hopefully, me on the other side if I time things correctly. So catch you guys in just around 30 seconds or so. I really need to one day make my own intro video. I am horrible with that, though. I may need to ask Raka for her hand in it. I know she does pretty well with it. She's good with that video mixing. But actually, we did time things pretty well. I do like hammer comps, as Voriel is saying. But getting into it, we see Sarah Linney. Sarah Linney? Oh gosh, I didn't think I'd already be questioning how I say things. But Sarah Linney is on that. Diva Galactos on the Brightwing. Aura Luna is on that. Sylvanas, Andrade. Oh my god, I can't remember heroes' names. On Diablo and Shansi B9 on the Sudden Hammer, which I am aware of it, and maybe they're offlane. On the other side, we do have Moby 1 on the Joanna. Raka is on that Blaze. Born to Shine Anduin. And Arissa is on the Vala and the Captain. Writing things out on Jaina. So in terms of what builds we have here, we have Sylvanas going Shadow Dagger build, which is always a interesting one to me. It's not the easiest thing to pull off, but once you get up there, it can very well so. Because now we see Shadow Dagger coming out actually quite early in the combo, but also not quite as much Shadow Dagger stacks as they may like, but it still does get a couple other things to note. We do have the Vala stacking Q at level 1. And Blaze may not have the easiest time into Sergeant Hammer is also the other thing. Oh, barely short with that charge. Sometimes you do just need to drop a little bit of oil to make sure your charge connects a little bit easier. But Blaze can do alright into Hammer if they could just heal themselves and Q the enemy with if they get that jet stream for Q does more. Right, there is that Shadow Dagger once again. Moby1 taking a lot of damage. Born to Shine, however, does not need to use that pull. The Joanna is just able to run away, not too fussed about things. And I don't think this is the one you want to do camp. No, they do actually leech for camp. They're wanting to do bottom instead. So Moby is coming to be the anchor, which he finds Andrade in a bush and decides to step away. But are they going to realize what's happening underneath? No, they do not, as bottom camp is picked up by 36 of Mosh. Keep in mind that Yavapai all the while is doing this left objective. And down below, these Impalers are just going to be doing their extra damage. Soul Shield popped by Andrade. But no, they get a few flips around on people, but not too much to write home about. Now we can see Born to Shine and Anaressa starting their own camp. But here, phase shift coming out. It wasn't there. It was onto Andrade, I believe. I thought it was going to be on Sergeant Hammer. I saw their health was quite low, but they have used tap now, which will be a resource missing for them later. Moby1 getting a blind out onto Galactos. We have a Shadow Dagger coming out. Moby1 backpedaling, going to be fine. And level 4 is roughly picked up at the same time for both teams. So in terms of stacks, we do now see Subdue on the Joanna. Sylvanas is going that full W build. I imagine we may see the Haunting Wave at... Why did I close it? We may see the Haunting Wave at level 7, which lets your Haunting Wave give stacks of her auto attack stack thing onto Black Arrows, I think they're called, onto enemy heroes, and it does give a little bit extra value and makes it much easier for you to stack. That's really the only other thing to kind of note is Subdue is the main quest. Everything else kind of a simple thing. We see the more damage orientated Jaina, where they're not needing to complete their glow quest at level 1 for their mana. They do actually have arcane intellect, but also right. Interesting to see the even-handed blessings. I do like it in terms of sustain, because this map is definitely about the sustain on this objective. And Arrested does step up a little bit into Andrade to get a stack. They do need to be careful when hugging this corner, as that may be a difficult spot. Moby1 steps up quite a bit. Andrade goes in alone. Nice stun by Raka, and there's Andrade taking a lot of damage. Does need to swap the spell shield, and even through that, they actually got pretty low. Even with that 55 spell armor, we can see Moby1 has backed out to heal up, and now there is the tank missing. There is a 5v4. Tank only just back now. We can see Anaressa taking a lot of damage. Shen, CB9, gets the Blizzard dropped on top of him. Raka getting a nice double stun. However, the other one in trouble gets flipped back in and will go down just a little bit on their own, which is unfortunate. They'll be level 7s and first blood going over to Yavapai. 36 and Mosh are going to have to try and muscle their way back in if they want this. And Aressa does live. Andrade actually getting relatively low, but no, it backs out. And this objective is getting ever closer to being Yavapai's. But we hear phase shift coming out again. And that burst heal is actually really saving Andrade here. That Diablo probably should have died a couple more times than they probably would have if they had any other healer this early on. But no, we can get Moby1 to get the jump. Just the rest of the team does need to step away from where they are. They don't quite do so. Frozen Punisher does make the jump, gets two. And this, keep in mind, is a Frozen Punisher. It is going to deactivate those buildings, make it much easier for the side of Yavapai to siege. And we do have that full auto, that mobile hammer. They are going to be stepping in. That is the Frozen Punisher down now. They may not be able to stay around much longer. We can see that, yep, that is the boosters used. And we can see the offlaners are soaking. Not too much of a level difference between the two. They definitely could be further off. But we can see now Raka getting a decent amount of siege. And Brightwing actually goes down up top. They were caught out. And that is unfortunate. In terms of stacks, we do actually see that there are 13 stacks on Puncturing Arrows compared to Unveiling Shadows. So we do have the Sylvanas scaling that a little bit harder. They actually see Andrade has to back out. I do like the pickup of Monster Hunter here, as it turns, as we can see that Vala has been the main camp clear so far. So if they are going to be the camp clear, they can very much use it to their advantage. And well, we do see there's a lot of members on here. That does go down very quickly. And actually that Q build does also help if you lose the Punisher, which you don't necessarily want to plan for losing Punisher, but if you need to, that is your safety net, so to speak. The captain does get flipped, however, Andrade does take a lot of damage for their efforts. And we do now see both teams stepping back up. Jaina is about over a third of a way to having their Frostbite done at level 1. It does take a little bit of time still, and I'll be interested to see what level 10 they go. Speaking of level 10s, we do see that Yavapai has picked up their one now. We do see the Blink heal on the... Oh my gosh. Oh, no, they're fine. As I say, we do see Blink heal on the Brightwing, Wailing Arrow, Sylvanas, Napalm Strike on the Sergeant Hammer, which keep in mind, they did just go down, unfortunately, for them. Also, the Bunny Hop Diva and the Apocalypse Diablo. On the other side, we do see Ring of Frost on the Jaina. We do see a Blessed Shield go out. Quite disconnected from rest of their team. Rest of the team not quite in position to follow up. There's a Ring of Frost now. We see the cancel onto Galactos and Arisa getting the stun onto them with that Rain of Vengeance. My Light Bomb is still up. Diva Bunny hopping in the middle of the team. Born to shine an awkward spot. Captain does go down to the Wailing Arrow. However, Galactos did step in to get the heal off, and they see them go down. Moby1 in danger. Doesn't go down. They do actually get the healed by the Born to Shine. Raka doing their best to backpedal. Does get out. Goes back in for a quick little stun, but should not stay there for long. Neither should Moby1. Actually, they're getting relatively low in all. G'day, Corrosive. Hope you're doing well. Just a reminder, we are on a little bit of delay, as this is a live cast. I did enjoy your match yesterday, I should say. A shame it didn't quite go your way, but there's definitely moments where you guys had definitely gave the other team a scare. I should have filled up my water bottle before I did this, huh? I did fill up my water bottle. Hell yeah! Not just a pretty face, also a dumbass as well. Only thing I haven't mentioned is we do also have a bunker from Raka, from Blaze. Alright, both teams are stepping up. Joanna's a little bit late, but that should be fine. All tools are up. The only thing not up is Apocalypse, and a little bit later on the bunker. There's a Napalm Strike. There's a nice stun. There's a Ring of Frost. The pool a little bit counter-synergistic, and Shan goes down first. Eva then loses the mech. Andrade getting relatively low. Doesn't pop the APOC. And that is a good 3-man, well, 2.5-man kill for the side of 30 seconds to Mosh, as Yavapai did get hit with a very good combo of Blaze Charge into Ring of Frost. They're just locked down there. Was a little bit too much for the team to deal with. Right, we can see Blaze has gone off to help clear top. I moved my arm a little bit too much there, and that hurt like hell, but we do have the Punisher phase coming on. And as I said, that 30 seconds to Mosh have that kind of safety net of the single target damage from Vala Q. There isn't quite the same thing from Yavapai. They do just have two very good damage dealers to deal with it. Aura Luna on that Sylvanas and Shan on that Sergeant Hammer. Both do have very good single target, but there we see the Blessed Shield. Light Bomb didn't quite get its own thing. However, the Light Bomb didn't need it. Yeah, it was a rough one, Crosser, but you guys did definitely try. And there's a dead Diablo. Just a couple of buttons does sometimes make the dream work. And I do like that Moby1 is very readily pushing their button to use Blessed Shield, because I know a lot of people, especially me when I play Joanna, are quite scared to use their buttons in case they're afraid of failure. I do really like Sergeant Hammer, I'm going to say. And this is one of their best maps. If it gets to level 20, this could get very hairy from 30 seconds to Mosh. We've very much got Yavapai is playing for the late game. If they can get their Sergeant Hammer at 20, they can get their Sylvanas at 20. And hell, even Diablo with things such as Hellgate, that is a lot. Anaressa gets pulled out as we have the Shadow Dagger and damage start to pop off of them, but they will get yeeted to safety. Thanks be to the Anduin trust issues button, as I like to call it, but Leap of Faith is what it's actually called. Andrade steps up, done it again. We see Ring of Frost coming out. Apocalypse finding a lot of damage. No one's actually picked up the camp yet, but I just see that they decide not to. Captain does back up to do so because there's silence. Nice double stun. Once again, we see the root onto Sergeant Hammer. Sergeant Hammer going down. Anaressa getting very stacked on that Q build already at 30 at the level 15 mark. That is 2 more kills for the side of 30 seconds of Mosh. While we did have a strong start for Yavapai, we've now got a position where 30 seconds to Mosh are the ones taking charge, and looks like they're going to have a little siege bottom. Captain did split from them. I'd like to see them potentially back here to see if they can help knock over that building, but we can see they're rotating down now. I forgot to place bets on this. Bets on this map. Oh well. Alright, we can see the building is quickly dropping. There it goes. You don't need to stay here any longer. Sylvanas once again not quite getting stacks from that Shadow Dagger. They're not quite able to connect it properly. They're a little bit skittish, I'd say. But fair enough. There is things such as Blessed Shield up, which didn't quite find its mark there. Cyril tried best to hold on, but that is a Vala in your face at the end of the game. There's not much you can indeed do about that. As Vala is known to be one of those scary, scary ones. Galactos being run down next. Does Blink heal out to Auraluna. Does get hit with the first wave of that Blizzard, but doesn't quite lose anything else here. And while there is a push going on mid, we do see Shanna's pushing top. I don't know if this is quite the trade you want. Ooh, Auraluna takes a lot. Andrade, I think, briefly showed below. Yep, they are aware. But at this point, you think you want to trade almost. And we see that Sergeant Hammer did take top. And it looks like they're going to be ones in the firing line. It looks like Shan needs to back there. Does Raka check the right bush? Does Born check it? Born barely catches it. That was a very tail end of it. That is not where you want to be phase shifting into, Brightwing. Oh dear. Do they get the kill on Brightwing? Raka does find the charge, and that is a double kill once again for the side of 36 and Mosh. This game very just working in iterations of double kills. There's been one like single kill by itself where they caught the Sergeant Hammer out alone in the lane, but they are going to now get very aggressive. 36 and Mosh doing excellent on catching them out. Alright, we see now Yavapai is playing very safe. They know they are in trouble. They know they need to play safely. They don't have healer. They don't have damage. They can't really do objective. What I'd like to see 36 and Mosh do is do this camp here and this as well. You guys know you have a number advantage. You can start it. We can see Anaressa actually. I didn't mess it up for once. I actually called something and someone did it. That's what we like to see. Moby1 getting a nice little interrupt onto the Diablo. But now we can see APOC coming out. We can see Bunny Hop Bunker drop. Anaressa is taking a lot of damage. Born to Shine then pulls them out. Does get a heal off into them. And that is a good Ring of Frost. Once again, we see one. Actually, we see a trade. Mick for. Well, there we go. We have 1.5 for 1 kills. Brightwing goes down. Raka gets a nice charge. Pull doesn't quite save him. They go down to the end. But that is still a alright spot here for 36 and Mosh. They do now need to find a way to get back in this. Andrade has reset. They can see Andrade is below it. They know what their health situation is, and they know they should be able to step up now. Oh, 39. They just need one more. Born to Shine looking to steal it. Moby1 instead stole it as well. It was very close at the end of that. They see Diva Mech, however, does go down again. That poor Mech is not having a fun time. Andrade halving below. Does actually make it out. I think they're just out of the vision range of 30 seconds to Mosh, which, good positioning. I just want to have a double check of that. End of that fight and see how close it was. As we see Punisher jumps. 59-53, pretty close. As we do see the damage come down onto Andrade. Wow, it was actually a 38 to 39 at the end of that, as 36 Mosh did get at the end. You can see the towers are going down. They don't quite have a full damage there with them. Jaina and Blaze are doing top camp, so we're not going to get any major risk by 36 to Mosh. Yavapai are getting close to where they're at the point they can turn around pretty easily. Interesting to see we do have a full defense matrix build from D.Va. It's not often you see it, but I do like the pickup. That is also interesting mechanical know-how. Not the most often picked Sergeant Hammer talent at level 16. But could very much work wonders given the right situation. I'm just wondering whether the percent damage would have been better into things such as Blaze and Joanna. Andrade has left their team alone. They're going to be dealing with the top camp Raka, trying to keep them there as long as possible. Because they do kind of need their tank there to help them defend this keep. Speaking of which, level 20s are through. We have Frozen Snap from Jaina, Inner Light Anduin, Acrobat Vala, Burn Notice on the Blaze, and finishing it off we have Radiating Faith on Joanna. But speaking of which, we see Joanna has joined us and Blaze not too far away. So Diablo is going to be a little bit late. They need to honestly knock down this building now before they do anything else. Which they have the keep. You don't really need to stay. You got what you needed. You can do a fight if you want, but that's a very aggressive place to fight because you don't want to get flipped and pushed into this building. Moby1 whips for shield. It does hit that Diablo, and Diablo went down very quickly. Ring of Frost was used, but I guess if the Diablo didn't die in time, that would have caught out for Brightwing as well. But no, they look like they're just going to get a second building. Bomb is dropped. We do see the push and pull coming from Diablo and Anduin respectively. That is a sliver of health on the building. Just 131. One good W, one good E. Oh, not E maybe. Well, maybe E from Joe would take that down, but no, we will not be getting that right now. Let's click this one because that's about to die. And we do now see the camp being stolen. We're just near level 20s for the side of Yavapai now. It looks like we are wanting that. Just one Q. And it goes down. So now there's going to be constant catapultation of those two lanes. It is a little bit of a lane pushing, wave pushing top for 30 seconds to Mosh. And I should mention that they do need to get this building now before the objective. As if this is still up, it makes it a lot harder for 30 seconds to Mosh during this objective phase. As they'd have a tap up. But we can see that they don't want Yavapai to have any advantage and knock it down. Speaking of the objective phase, there it is. I was about to say it should be coming up soon, but in fact, it beats the words to my mouth. This is potentially last fight territory for both teams in saying that. Because if Yavapai get this, they are still very much able to push to end. As it is the top lane, it is the lane with only one keep. Any other lane, I wouldn't say it's as easy, but this one, probably easiest for it. Anaressa does jump out of a bush at the last moment. And we can now see Blessed Shield being whipped. His follow-up stun, Light Bomb, there's a Ring of Frost. That is a nice catch of a Ring of Frost, but now we see Anaressa is in one trouble. Does try rolling, but no, that is the infinite bunny hop. They do eventually go down. That is just a little bit too much for the healer and the Anaressa to deal with. Right, Andrade does use Hellgate to get out. Blaze does charge. You see Diva about to get DMX. That is the phase shift coming out onto Diablo. So Diablo is able to stand a little bit longer. We see Moby1 backing out. Does go down to Shadow Dagger damage eventually. And if you're facing some Mosh, you just need to leave this area. Or Luna stepping up quite far. Does pop Shadow Dagger onto the captain, but they will be fine also. And just like that, which has been a pretty good game so far for 36 Mosh, it's very much now evened up by Yavapai. And that is the one fight they need. Again, as I said, you don't need to win every fight as long as you win. Oh, I don't think I've said this match, but as long as you win the fights at the end, you don't necessarily win out the rest of the map. Very unfortunate for 36 Mosh to lose their Vala first, but they can come back from this. As I said, they do have pretty good tools for dealing with it all. Right, there's a Frozen Punisher. We just need a safe play here. But very much, this is probably Yavapai's best chance at ending. But no, they are having to... How did you get... I guess there's a lot of minions. Wait, what's going to happen to the core here? This is actually a lot of damage. I know there's other stuff happening, but I'm just watching this core. The catapults are actually dropping it relatively quickly. But no, the Diva does get there before too long. And what could have been a very good spot for Yavapai is turning out to be actually a rough reality where they were unable to bolster as much as they like behind that Punisher because there was that constant catapult pressure building up in other lanes. And now we see 36 to Mosh once again on the hunt. Siege camp available. Looks like everyone's going to be going around. They didn't quite scout the bush. Nice stun by Andrade. We see Moby1 does follow up with their own stun. Brightwing does get out. However, Diablo isn't afforded the same opportunity. Goes down themselves. Sergeant Hammer and Anaressa are in a fight above. We see them pulled in just to them roll back in. Phase shift keeping them alive. Anaressa does get healed up. We are seeing shades of what happened earlier. Born to Shine doing their best to help people stay alive, but there's the captain going down this time. However, Anaressa is still up, does the damage. You see that mech is dropped while camp is stolen. That is a 1-for-1. Unfortunately, Jaina doesn't quite have a soul stone they can use to come back, unlike how Diablo does. We're going to have a quick look at this. We do see pretty good damage across the board. Sergeant Hammer just behind the Vala. But of course, as I said, both these games are known for their late game capabilities, and Sergeant Hammer did go for those ultra capacitors. Andrade fell short with that Hellgate there, no one caught out. It is very unfortunate, and Anaressa don't necessarily think you want to be there, as it's not the easiest group of people for you to escape from. There needs to just be a little bit better split between the healer of Born to Shine and the rest of the team, because they are getting caught out a little bit where they can't pull their allies. Oh, that is a bunker coming out. Andrade relatively low. No Soul Stone for them this time. And Sergeant Hammer does have those Ultra Capacitors going. It's not the easiest thing to push into. We do see they do, however, get out of their bunker, their siege tank form. Oh, nice Wailing Arrow. However, it cannot quite save. Nice pushback. And Arresta getting relatively low. That is the Sergeant Hammer pushing their buttons. As I said, you can't necessarily go into them that easily, but no, that is now 4 members down of 30 seconds to Mosh. And thank you, OMG Podcast, for following. Greatly appreciate it. And we do now see that looks like it may be the end for the side of Yavapai. They are going to be pushed into by 36 Mosh, as 36 Mosh are deciding it is going to be the end now. They do at least still have their Jaina up, and while their teammate of Anaressa may not be there for the family photo, Galactos at least is there to fill this spot, and GG's both teams. Well played. Right, let me change the game summary and see how that went. So, good damage by the Sergeant Hammer. Really, when those Ultra Capacitors get rolling, they are quite hard to deal with. And I don't actually think I do know who you are, OMG Podcast. But no, that's just map number 1. Don't worry. So, Sergeant Hammer, excellent siege, excellent hero damage. Very hard to deal with. But Anaressa on that Vala did scale quite well. We did see they were getting close to about 100k. But just 5k difference between Sergeant Hammer and themselves. Blaze, excellent siege. However, Sergeant Hammer also did a lot for them. But in terms of soak, Diva and Blaze very close to each other. And healing, literally just 22 difference between the two healers. So in terms of those talents, anything that stands out to me in particular? Not really. I'm always interested to see Ring of Frost. Ring of Frost isn't one of those commonly picked ones, but it can work out in any given situation. Diva full defense matrix is probably the most interesting thing. It is something I do enjoy myself if I know I've got no like tank in my Demon ARAM, but I know it can definitely do work. Just sometimes I'm not quite sure. But no, Diva actually did very well for Bunny Hop there. That infinite Bunny Hop made it a lot more difficult for 30 Seconds to Mosh to really do what they wanted to do. But right, that was map number 1. That was a good map number 1 as well. I'll be interested to see what we have coming up next. I imagine we'd see Yavapai, which, yes, that alphabet soup at the top left in the blue side is Yavapai. Chooses first pick, because I know as we are, there's like kind of a nice curve. There's kind of like a nice relationship in the divisions compared to how much they want map pick. So lower divisions, they definitely want first pick more, but as we get later and later, there's typically more that we're comfortable on this map, we want to do this strategy on this map, let's go there. So, what will we have next is my big kind of question mark to myself. I'm just keeping an eye on things, seeing what is happening, and no one's quite chosen anything yet. But I'm sure we'll update you as soon as we can. My gosh, there's a lot of customs going on today. I should also change to a screen where I won't accidentally play a game, because that would be a disaster and a half. Probably some good discussions going about that last map, and I will actually talk about it, because Yavapai did have a decent start. There was a pretty close... There's a pretty good start in terms of tempo they got. In terms of the kills, there was a little bit of macro issue, but in terms of tempo and kills, they did very well, but then kind of 30 Seconds to Mosh did run away with it. But as I said, there was that late game scaling for both teams, and we see Yavapai did become much more of a threat as we got to those 20s. Sergeant Hammer is one of those heroes there. Yeah, once you get to 20, that is a problem. Similarly, though, Vala is also known to be a problem as we get to the 16 and 20 stage as well. So definitely good stuff there. And as we're patiently waiting, is there any map that people like wanting to see this series? Because we've just seen how they do on one of those larger maps with an objective. But is there anything else that chat may like to see? Maybe of course you have no say on what map is chosen, but maybe we see in Battlefield of Eternity. Maybe we see not Braxis Holdout, that was banned. That's what I want to see. I'm like, yeah, Braxis. I'm like, wait, no, that one's banned. I can't see it. No. I just want to see Braxis more. I wish people chose Braxis more. I like Braxis. Maybe we see something like Dragonshy. Dragonshy is always fun. But I can only imagine I know what's going to get banned there. Tomb of Spider Queen could also be a good one. But no, nothing just yet. My money is on Battlefield of Eternity because that's what I want to see. It would probably be a bad bet. Because I don't think... Again, that's one of those two-lane maps where people either really love the map or really dislike it. And considering how well 36 and Mosh did on in those team fights, that first map, I don't know if it's necessarily something Yavapai would choose to go to themselves. So I imagine if we do see it, it'll be 30 seconds to Mosh choosing it. I don't think it's one of their main ones, but yeah, Dragonshire, one of my personal favorites. One of my best maps in NTS. It's not often I do lose it, but I do also have a few tricks up my sleeve, and I do like to pull out that map. But it looks like we have instead Towers of Doom, which, to be fair, I do also like Towers of Doom a lot. It's one of those fun ones where, well, again, it can come to the late game. The rest of the map may not even matter up until level 16, and honestly, I just want a version of this where you start at level 16, you have 12 shots, go ham. But looks like we are just waiting for people to file in now. I believe we're just waiting on one because I've somehow ended up on a team. I'm just going to ask them to politely move me to the observer slot. But no, we are just waiting on one more. I think there's just going to be a little discussion about who they choose to be there. And suddenly I've been made host. Well, first mistake is they put me in charge. So we are just waiting on one of the 30 seconds to Mosh team members by looks at it. And it was actually map pick by Yavapai. So as I said, it may be a map pick on Yavapai, depending on if they're not wanting 30 seconds to Mosh to go certain places. Yeah, everything looks like it makes sense so far. I'm just going to check Captain Hats on the right people. And have a little bit of water. So, Towers of Doom are definitely one of those ones I do like, because you can have just your off-laner just roll around, have a good old time, a grand old giggle, good old smash. This is really the off-lane PvE adventure map, while the rest of the team just constantly butt heads. I think the teams are just discussing strats currently. It looks like one team should be ready shortly, not sure about the other. But I'll just say when you guys are ready. As we will be getting into this shortly. I don't quite know how both teams have performed on this. I've got hiccups. I don't quite know how both teams have performed on this map in the past. I do know that it's one of those ones where sometimes it's quite hard to get your head around, and just if you are forgetting those one or two things, it gets a lot more difficult. But I hope that both these teams do have a good head of themselves and realize where their home is and when that home is to be occupied. And I'll explain that a little more when we get into the game itself. And I'm going to try to remember, someone yell at me when they see the credits, the opening sequence roll, that just like go, hey, bets, I want to bet my points. But I'll endeavor to remember it myself, because I'm horrible at remembering to start predictions. It is one of the things that I am worst at. So I am starting the lobby up now, because somehow I ended up as lobby host. It happens. But I'm alright with responsibility at the end of the day. I'd rather just get things moving along. But Tales of Doom, we could hear the voice, we could hear the coin. Let's get into it. Red banning first, so once again, first pick for the side of Feasings to Mosh. I'm wondering if the bans will change out here, because I don't think Azmodan is as worth the ban on this map. But we can see Junkrat has been picked up to start. Well, Junkrat is just banned out to start, which, yeah, that is one of the ones I thought would be banned out still. Stukov banned out again. I don't know what will be here, but I imagine we will see Rhaegar again for the side of Yavapai. We're having a good think once again. Do they want to get rid of Diablo here? It's a good Diablo map. Do they want to get rid of a Brightwing? Brightwing did very well last time, but maybe they want Brightwing. The Zebo, if you got some funky. But yep, it is a Brightwing. As expected. So I imagine we'll see a Rhaegar ban here, and we're going to get very light on healers very quickly. Be very interesting if we see both healers having to dig into like their back pull, but no, we see Joanna banned out this time. Do we see a first pick heal then? Do we see Vala first picked once again? No, we see Rhaegar picked up to start with, which reasonable thing to pick up. I really need to get rid of my name at the bottom left, that's green, and replace it with the boss. But now we have Yavapai's picks. Do we see healer before there's any more healers banned out? Do we potentially see the tank coming in first? But we see healer picked up, and actually two healers, Galactos and Aura Luna, picking up Karazim and Tyrande, respectively. So heavy auto attack comp already. Interesting to see if we see something such as a Abathur or Teriel come in. That'd be very fun to watch. Even though it would be a bit volatile in terms of how well it can do, because one blind can really ruin it all. And there are still things like Cassia and Jaina, or not Cassia and Jaina, Cassia and Mei up on the map, which can make things much harder for them. Which I'd expect Cassia to be picked up now. But we see Sub-Zero picking up Vala and Moby-1 picking up Mirrodin, so we'll note that Anaressa did rotate out, and we do see the Vala instead. Which, now that we've said things out loud, we may see the ban of the Cassia. Especially because there is already a heavy auto attack presence on the side of Yavapai, sorry, and that is one of the last key counters to it. But no, we see Ana banned out. That's a really weird ban. Are they just planning on going 5 healers? I'm calling it now. We're going to see 5 healers. That's why I feel like this is about to go, and I think 30 Seconds of Mosh has just clicked on that as well. Because if I see an Ana, typically my head goes to, we're going to see a bunch of healers and a hyper carry. Speaking of a bunch of healers and hyper carry, one of my favorite ARAMs I played recently was 4 Tyrandas and a Felstad. Which, funny enough, that's really fun. But we see Alex Strasser picked up, and we see Ufa picked up. Yep, this is going exactly where I expected. What's like the other main anti-heals left? I guess you can go Zul. Zul has anti-healing. D.Va can have anti-healing. In terms of damage dealers, there's not much. That's a really hard one. Maybe we just see Blaze still. Jaina Lee Auric. Well, that's a very good combo in of itself. And Sarah Linney is for person who did play the Sergeant Hammer last time. Wait, no. Shan did last time. What type of healer we're going to get here? Yeah, this is a lot of healers. Also, welcome. I can't wait. Hope you're doing well today. Also, thank you for following. Blue team's picking. Are we going to get another healer or is it going to be something weird? Nope, Lily. Good. I was like, come on, another healer. But part of me also would have went, it'd be really funny now if they didn't go a healer. So, interesting two things to deal with. So, I probably imagine we're going to see a 1-1 free from Yavapai. Or 36 and Mosh may do that more standard. Leoric double rotates and the rest of the team hard push bot. It'll be hard to say up until we get into the actual comp. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open with the pre-roll. And as I say, everyone, there is a 30-second delay, just as a reminder. So, I'll see you all on the other side of things. As I make sure I go to the right thing. You know, now that I can't wait did say Lucio out loud, I'm actually like, Lucio would have been a good choice. I think Lucio would have been an excellent choice, but we do have the teams up, and I'll start with Yavapai because there's 5 healers on my screen. We do see Shan, CB9 on the Alexstrasza, Andrade, Ufa, which I imagine we're going to see a stun. Ufa, Aura Luna is on that Tyrande, Galactos on the Karazim, and Sarah Linney on the Lily. On the other side, we do have the captain on Jaina. Moby 1 is on the Muradin. Sub-Zero on the Vala. Raka is on that Leoric, which I do hope we see in Tomb here. And Born Shine rounding things out on Rhaegar. Rhaegar, unfortunately, does not have any minus themselves. Al does find Sub-Zero, so that does put Yavapai already in a very good position. If you hit for Al first, you will be in an advantageous spot. We can see now wave clear will be quite a bit easier for 36 and Mosh as well as their camp clear. Sub-Zero thanking the Al for the kisses. And we do see the teams rotating down now. Leoric and Alexstrasza are showing top. They're just going to get a little bit push of mid. You see a good lot, have a lot good fun. But we can see that 36 and Mosh can invade pretty effectively here. Oh, we do see the Purge come out onto Lily. Lily takes a little bit too much damage. The Ufa burst protection is not there. Speaking of which, Ufa Hammer does hit Born to Shine in the head. And they will be backing up. And as I said, we do see the Ufa has gone the Bonk build. Karazim has gone Iron Fist, so they'll be getting very good at those punches. And Alexstrasza has gone actually Flames of Fury. Karazim, that's... I do like just seeing Karazim go up. Maybe not. Just having decision making there. But this is not necessarily a fight you want if you're Yavapai. We can see one goes down already. And that is, again, just a quick one-person fight over. See that Captain has to back. We're already at 564. Vala with Puncturing Arrow already at 2 stacks themselves. And Muradin will eventually get that very hard to complete Stormbolt quest, I am sure. So sometimes it can be that all these healers can backfire. And when it comes to things such as Vala, that is one of the cases. If there's good stacking heroes, I'm gonna hiccup. If you're stacking heroes, it does very much help them speed up their stack. So if you have something like, well, Vala with all of her builds, we do have the, or if you have something like Zul'jin, suddenly those are quite scary heroes to go into. Right, we do hear the bonk coming out. That is Andrade getting purged. We have a lot of damage coming out, but the 2 healers doing so well to keep yourself. Well, Voriel, you're come back to a 5 healer comp. If that makes sense, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 healers on the side of Yavapai. And, well, 36 and Mosh. I don't know how kindly they're feeling about it, but they are definitely getting a little bit of bullying in. Oh, we see that Owl just barely flies through. In terms of soak, we do have a little bit of advantage on 30 seconds to Mosh. We may have to see a split here where 2 go top. Oh, Aura Luna is the one in trouble now. Yeah, I think Lucio would very much help with this issue that we're running into. But every time we do see that people are barely getting out, to say the least. But it's not necessarily the end of the world if that does happen. They are still scaling. Both teams are still scaling. And Rocket really needs to be careful when it comes to that top, pushing into Alex Strasser, as Alex Strasser is stacking off them. Galactos does dive onto the captain. They are Iron Fist, so that is actually a quite hard thing for them to deal with. You can see Andrade and Galactos, well, everyone just staying up. But this is a team comp where if you are even, you'll be fine. Once you are down, that's where it becomes difficult. You see Sub-Zero and the captain a little bit higher than both their tank and healer. Moby1 goes in to help. All 5 members are down here, but no, it looks like teams are needing back out. We can see now it is going to be a full 5v5. Over everyone's low, Moby1 jumps out, Rucker as well, using that Ray form. And that Dragon Queen Alex Strasser is going to be a large key of the damage of Yavapai. That is the thing that will be keeping them in this into the later game. And we do have a Battle Lily. We have a Cloud Serpent Lily, which is relatively close. It's just not quite the full Battle Lily we've come to know and love. Keep in mind that while this fighting is happening, while there is a full 5-man meatball running at the 4-man, Raka is soaking. Which, actually, no, they're coming back down. They do have a level 7 advantage man as well. Ufa gets a hammer off directly, but now they do have a full 5-man running at them. And this will become all the scarier once Entomb is out. Born to Shine bites him. We can see Andrade goes down the perch, keeping them inside the lizard. Shan is doing their best to get the damage off, and we can see it was the slows doing it for them. They get a few more stacks on their way out, but they do eventually go down. They're now at 16 out of those 20 E stacks that she needs. Right, and we can see another pumpkins are getting guarded in. Both two bottom at bottom town. We see one going into the fort. Yes, I can't wait. ANZ does equal Australia, New Zealand. I am a New Zealander, or if you like to get into the local slang for it, I'm a Kiwi, if you do want to put it that way. Which I think I could probably add that as a tag. I don't know. Should probably. But anyway, we do see Sarah Linney is getting chased out. We do hear the Ufa Hammer going out to Moby1, and they are stopped in their tracks. They are low in mana is probably the main thing to note. This is going to have to be a little bit of a awkward fight until that healer comes in. I do kind of want to see that skin as well, I'm going to be honest. But Moby1 is going to take a little bit too much damage and goes down there. This may just have to be a give at this point. As for full 5-man of Yavapai R bottom, Feeding the Mosh can't really risk pushing into that too much. Yep, Aussie and Kiwi. Absolutely. Sub-Zero does go in for a roll. We see Galactos does take a decent burst. And we've very much got an interesting spot where once the 10s come through, that's where it gets scary for both teams. Because, well, on the side of Yavapai, you have things such as Divine Storm, Dragon, what's it called? Water Dragon. I don't know what else is really main tools here. We can see 7-sided Strike. That's also another one that is of concern. And on the other hand, we do have level 10s for now, because we do see that Rain of Vengeance will help make things difficult, as well as Ring of Frost. And imagine, I should say, we're probably going to see Entomb here. It is probably the time for it. And Sub-Zero is just stacking once again. And we're about to open up for home. It looks like that 30 seconds of Mosh will be having it. I also forgot to mention the Ancestral Healing on Born Shine. And yeah, now we're in the house. This is your home now if you're 30 seconds of Mosh. Your offlaner does for work, you live here. Especially if you're Moby1. This is your home. If Moby1's not in the green square, they are in the wrong place. And someone can quote me on that. I'm sure I can have a coach somewhere, or some higher level player, quote me on this square is your home. And once again, we see 4 out of the 5 members bottom for Yavapai. And Captain actually in an awkward spot. They do have to back out. If Andrade gets on top of him, that is a likely death sentence. But no, we can now see Moby1 is in his house. He does get hit in the head with a hammer. Does get hit in the head with a lunar flare. And we can see now he gets kissed on the way out with an owl. Yep, these are all basically what I expected in terms of the heroics for Yavapai. Right, we do see that the drain is coming out. Born Shine is going to be starting the channel. I like to see the turnaround in Tomb here. And if we can see a big blizzard, that may be a lot of damage coming out, but no, we got a nice little split. The 7-sided strike hitting Moby1 for a lot. Moby1 is unstopped. We do see they are going to try best to get out. Meanwhile, Sub-Zero doing the best, but no, gets dashed into by Galactos. Will go down, and that's 2 kills now for 30 seconds. For the side of Yavapai on the 30 seconds of Mosh. And honestly, I think we just need to see a Blizzard, just rip a Blizzard, drop a, rip a Entomb, drop a Blizzard, and you may win that fight. But no, now we are once again in an awkward spot where 3 shots will come in, so we are even actually in terms of the points, in terms of core health, in terms of just health for your team in general. But I think this is a game where Valeoric can't be scared, I should say. Valeoric can't be scared of using Entomb. If you Entomb the enemy team and you drop Blizzard on top of him, that's basically a one fight in that regard. There's a lot of healing. That's also a lot of burst you need to heal through. Lily can't choose where it goes. We can also see that's 1 kill already. Born to Shy bites in, is slowed by a lot. Andrade should have maybe hit. I don't think Andrade had a stun there. If they did, Born was definitely dead. But no, that is a good double kill now for Facing Zamosh. Unfortunately, it's just not at the objective itself. And we see Raka is getting slowed to all hell by Shan, and Shan will likely have that Dragon Queen Alexstrasza back up soon, as they are going that full E build. And once again, Moby1 has left his home of what I like to call this green square. You basically want your tank on 1 damage here at most times. Teal may be able to answer that as well, but I, of course, do not quite know it as well as they may do. You can see that building quickly goes down. Meanwhile, you can see top camp is picked up. 36 and Mosh will be in position to actually get a decent fight off here. And in fact, they may want to even position here early to see if they can set things up. But we do see they are going to rotate through to it now. Maybe not. Owl coming up. Doesn't quite find Moby1. And we do see the sappers walk on in. Unfortunately, Shan isn't quite able to stop that. Oh, Moby1 is going to take a lot of damage. We do see the team stepping in, keeping Moby1 alive. Sierra Lini does cap 1. We see Raka caps the other. Ufa goes down. And I'd still like to see, maybe we can get a couple of kills here if you're facing to Mosh, but no, they decide not to. Instead, are just going to rip boss. And that will be the boss going down. And the core slowly falls, 21 points of health on it left. But no, we're still getting a pretty good tenacity here by Yavapai. By no means are they out of it. Sure, like, literally it's still pretty even. Oh gosh, what does the team acronym mean? Yavapai County... something... chess club and swimming team. It's something weird. Let me see if I can find what it actually is. I'll be able to tell you at break. After this map, I'll be able to tell you fully what it is. I just can't pull up my messages right now. And I need to now switch back to this tab. Yeah, sorry, Tara. So I can't quite tell you what the acronym for the left team means. Most people just shorten it to Yavapai, as said in my stream title. It's just easy to do it that way. But now we can see an aggressive fight come out here. Andrade gets hit by the Ring of Frost, does go down. The Sub-Zero is the one in danger, is having to back out. That is Ancestral Healing used a little bit late, unfortunately, for Sub-Zero. That will be a very unfortunate death. Alright, we can see they are rotating up. Blizzard dropped. I don't think the team members get there in time. Captain has found them all. They jump up onto Galactos. Bornstein got just before that comes in. We do see a nice dodge. Any hammers from Moby1? I don't think this is time channel. I think you just need to fight if you're facing the Mosh. Here comes Entomb. No, we do see Dragon, however, coming out. There is the Entomb. And that is not the position you want to be in. If you are the team of Yavapai, as I said, just rip the Entomb. You drop the Jaina's damage on top of it. And that is not quite something any of you can survive. And we see Yavapai does fall to that all that damage. Sure, there was 16 advantage through for the side of 30 seconds to Mosh. But that is exactly the fight they needed. And I'm surprised they didn't do that the first time around on those 10s. Oof, that was a rough situation for Yavapai. Oh, Captain knows where their home is. Captain knows that this is their house. This is the home. This green square is your home. Captain, do not leave, I swear. But no, we can see now that 36 Mosh is also taken top. And just middle is the only building surviving. But Yavapai is coming now. I hope I've gotten the acronym actually right now, think about it. If a captain does need to back out a little bit, they can't really stay here now. It does need to be Muradin back down here, but 16s are now through for the side of Yavapai. Well, Andrade is rooted in under the tower. Ring of Frost actually dropped. I'm not quite sure about that one. We can see Water Dragon used. The captain backs out of it in time, so Sierra Lani not able to get all the damage off. Will be fine. And we see Karazim actually goes down. Where's their body? Where's Karazim's body? I don't know. But no, we are looking at potentially a 6 gap. Unfortunately, a little bit too late. We're fighting soon. I don't know. So I'll say, oh, we do hear the D-Storm coming out. Nice route by the captain. They are the increased E size. But no, it looks like it's a little bit of split. Sierra Lani and Shan both having people run at them. And with that split of damage, unfortunately, both the Lily and the Alexstrasza get out, where potentially one could have died and the other one may have been fine still. But no, this bottom is up. They will be pushing in now. Rhaegar setting up on objective. It looks like the rest are going to be rotating down to see if they can catch people out. And Shan very much in the backline rotates around. Captain does spot them. Lily does drop the Water Dragon. And we can now see that that is a rooted Shan. Shan using that Dragon Queen does fly out. Actually, no, it wasn't Dragon Queen. It was the use of that flight. Unfortunately, Ring of Frost doesn't find anything. Meanwhile, there's a fight going on down bottom. We see Cinesided on top of Raka. Raka having to back out, as they will be probably going down to the Karazim in a few moments. Does drop their Ghost form at the last time. We can see that it is the Tyrande going to first. Galacto, sure, will probably get bottom, unless Raka stops it. Does stop it, but let's go back up here now that we know what's happening down there. As we did see another kill coming out from the Alexstrasza. Andrade and Sierra Lani in trouble, but it's Andrade going down first. Sierra Lani, the next one on the chopping block. Just one hammer, but no, Sierra Lani sidesteps it at the perfect time. And they are just getting chased by this full team. And we can see now Urfa's Spirit has gone down. Lily has gone down. GG call by Andrade. They know what time it is. And that is the end of it. Very likely as you see the first 5 shots go into the core. There's the core going down. And unfortunately, Teal, they weren't in their home. They weren't in this area most of the game. But no, that will be the end of the game. GG's both teams. Let me change it to the game summary screen. Also, welcome, Teal. In terms of stats, I guess, we can see, I don't know. Good healing by Lily. Good work, Born Shine, did go that heal. Was that normal heal build, so they did do a little bit more than the other healers. Not combined, but in general. We can see that Jaina, 56k hero damage. Alexstrasza did have their own 35k. Closely followed by Lily as well. In terms of that, we do see Alexstrasza 62k siege. Leoric 84 did have a double soak going on. Alexstrasza a little bit harder with that. Soak also, Leoric did do a little bit better than Alex as well. To quickly look at talents, and I'm going to tab on over to Discord and pop myself in a channel. At 30 seconds to Mosh interview. Hopefully someone will join me in a few moments. But I would talk about talents before I click send on that message. Nice Water Dragon build, Lily. Like, all of this was very much more the damage orientated builds for the side of Yavapai, which can work out. It just was a little bit too much, because once we did see that Jaina damage getting dropped directly into a free man in bunker, that did really well. That was exactly what they nearly did. I nearly spilled my water bottle over my keyboard, and that would have been what I like to call a problem. But hopefully we'll have someone join us shortly. I'm going to change back on over to my game summary screen, map view screen. And we do have Born to Shine joining us. How are you doing today, Born to Shine?
Hey, good. How about you?
I am doing well. How are you guys feeling off the back of that series?
We're feeling pretty good, you know. Yeah.
So I do have to ask you in particular, because you are the healer player. Map number 1. Were you feeling the love throughout that ban phase?
Yeah, all the healer bans. Yeah, I did notice that. So, you know, it's nice to get some attention. You know, usually it's the DPS that get all the love. So as a healer, yeah, it was like a nice hug for me.
Right. And speaking of which, map number 1, when I actually get on over to the Infernal Shrines game. What did that kind of go as expected? Were you expecting the offlane hammer to start, or were you expecting more something else?
From a draft standpoint, it was pretty much exactly what I thought they were going to do with it. I knew as soon as they picked shrines that they were going to want the hammer. And I almost banned it out, but I didn't really feel like it was going to be too much of a problem as long as you can be on top of taking care and babysitting the hammer and not letting her push solo.
Mm.
Which I've seen them do in the past, and it worked really well for them. But I felt like coming into it, I had to put a game plan for it.
Right, and did you kind of come to regret that sentiment as you got into the late game where Hammer was starting to pump out that damage after 20?
I mean, yeah, because it hurt. It was definitely hurting, but I don't feel like we ever, lost our footing in the game. So it was mostly just all of us making sure to call it like, hey, we need to make sure that we either get the hammer or we leave when she's coming in so that she doesn't get the value. Plus, we had the Joe for the blinds and stuff, so it made it a little easier. The D.Va was probably more of a throw for me because I didn't see that coming in the draft, and the bunny hop was able to take me out a couple times.
Yeah, funny enough, that was going to be my next question. Now, what was the kind of comms like by you squishier players as D.Va constantly just boosted in on you and just decided to start hopping on your face?
Well, they seem to really like me and not want me to play the game, so I was mostly just screaming, you're in my way, I can't move, as I tried to escape.
I feel like Anaressa may have also been in the same boat because she definitely was also targeted a fair bit by that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I took double yeet for a reason with the Anduin, so.
And in general for that map, did everything kind of go to plan in terms of draft, in terms of how the map went? Was everything kind of set in motion early on, and you guys went, cool, we're quite comfortable with this?
From a draft standpoint, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and Shrines is, one of the most played maps, so I think everyone, knows. You, yes, as caster, you are aware. So, you have to draft, like wave clear, camp clear, be on top of your camp timings, be ready for objective, all the usual stuff. So yeah, as long as you're planning for that and drafting for that,
Speaking about things to plan for and to draft, map number 2 had a bit of a weird one. Were you quite ready for 5 healers to be dropped on a Towers of Doom game?
No,
but I have my own scouting scripts, so I was able to run through some of the data, and I saw that they do play some really weird stuff. So in the beginning of the game, I was just kind of told the guys, like, hey, they're going to be playing weird shit, and there's not a whole lot that I'm going to be able to like, call as I normally can, so, don't be surprised by some of it. And I saw that they ran triple, quad, full stack healer comps before, so once I saw, like, the 4th one come up, I was like, oh, okay, well, they're going to be really annoying to kill probably around mid-game, and then we should be fine after that.
I was going to say, I was wondering if the Anna ban was the tip-off as what was about to happen.
By that point, I was kind of like, oh, 3 healers, like, they're just doing something funky. Like, it's, it is what it is. It's not what I would have drafted, but it was working really well in the middle of the game. Some of those times where they chased us down and blew us up were faster than I thought they would be.
Yeah, I was about to say, they definitely gave you a little bit more run for your money than expected, because it did start out strong for you guys. I'll give you that. You're able to push in, get a few kills, and kind of start building momentum quite early on, but that mid-game was a problem. However, that definitely did start turning around when you went, oh yeah, we could just Blizzard on Entomb.
Yeah, so they actually had me adjust my Jaina build a little bit for that, because I couldn't get anywhere near them, and I went E-build, so once I saw the Entomb dropped, I was like, you mean I can actually get E resets without having to, like, die? So I just ran up and started Eing as fast as I could. It felt good.
And Born, I bet you're feeling a little bit less love that game with the less bans on the healer roll that time.
I mean, less bans on the healer roll, but there were so many healers in the game that it was a wonderful healer party, Makes me happy.
Good news for you, you did manage to out-heal the rest of the healers. But right, if you guys want to say anything else about matches or any kind of notes or thank yous in general, floor is yours.
Oh, well, shout out to the team. Great job tonight. Y'all played well. I know this was our second game of the week because we did a flex match on Monday. PSA to the rest of NGS, schedule your flex matches.
No.
Shout out to Teal, our coach, for helping us this season and in the off season. We really appreciate all your time and your effort. And shout out to you. Thanks for casting us. And to Yavapai, thanks for the games tonight.
Yeah, thanks for the games, thanks for the cast, and really proud of the team with how well we're doing this season. Had a lot of fun tonight.
Same.
Bye.
Right on. Right, I hope you have a good night then, you guys. Take it
Yep,
easy.
thanks. And again, thanks again for the cast.
Right, catch you all later. Right, so that was a fun one to watch all in all. What I'm going to do is I actually may pick up another cast in about 15-20 minutes or so. So in the meantime, I may raid another team. Let's raid Psychopaths. I don't know how much left they have there. So I'm going to start that raid. To everyone who is in the chat, I do wish you good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending where you are in the world, because time zones are very weird. What I'll do is I'll see you all in the Nexus. And for now, I wish you all take care and have a very good night. Have a good one.